It's just, I guess, emotionally exhausting.
It's been nearly a month since a northern Kentucky couple was last seen. Why family are focusing on central Kentucky for now. Deputies say she tried to skip town with her son.
Actually standing by the roadway waiting on the gentleman to pick her up.
We're talking with the deputy she's accused of attacking during her arrest. And a headache for drivers in Lexington tonight. Why traffic was backed up on the interstate for hours.
This is WKYT News.
Quiet night across the Commonwealth. Thanks for staying up late with WKYT. I'm Sean Moody in for Kristen Kennedy. The storms have calmed down this evening, but they haven't gone away completely. We're tracking another stormy pattern for the work week. We begin with meteorologist Jim Caldwell and your no-wait weather forecast.
Indeed, Sean, looks like we're going to get action-packed around here with more rounds of showers and thunderstorms sweeping into the area. As you see tonight, though, as we're looking back toward downtown, everything is pretty quiet. Temperatures coming in at 73 degrees. Now, the humidity's up, so if you walk outside, it's certainly going to feel nasty, and it'll be that way in the early morning hours as well. Have that sticky feel to the air. But showers and thunderstorms are not out there, at least at the moment. Now, they're going to be coming at us, and they'll come in waves over the next several days with clusters of thunderstorms rolling in from our north. You can even see some of that activity coming together tonight around St. Louis. These showers and storms started developing in northern Missouri, and notice they're on the march toward us. Now, what we see here, as you can see, it stopped right there. I'm going to transition into our high-resolution model. It's picking up on that rain. It's got a little more intense around St. Louis tonight, but the high-resolution model runs every hour, and it takes a current snapshot of the way things are. And as you see, as we progress into the early morning hours, here's those showers and storms are lining up along Interstate 64, and then eventually getting in here by mid-morning, the leading edge of it. Scattered showers and storms out ahead of it with more of this moisture and these waves coming at us. That's what it looks like we're going to be tracking for a few days. I'll break it down a little more in detail coming up for you in just a few minutes.
Jim, thank you. It's been weeks and they still don't have any answers. Tonight, family members are pleading for any leads to help them find the bodies of a northern Kentucky couple. Bobby Jones and Crystal Warner were last seen July 3rd at a home in Washington County. Ever since then, friends and family have searched several Kentucky cities. Lately, they've been focusing their search on Winchester. That's where the couple's car was last seen driving around. WKYT's Caitlin Sentner talked with Jones's sister in our top story at 11.
Well, we really haven't stopped since the first day that we found out him missing.
Bobby Jones and Crystal Warner have been missing for 25 long days.
We searched all the way from Springfield to Midway to Winchester, all the way to Red River Gorge.
Becky Isom is counting each day, and searching is only becoming more difficult.
You can't get your mind off of it, and trying to commit 100% to searching and then coming home and being a mom to 3 kids who don't know or understand what's going on. It's just, I guess, emotionally exhausting.
Isom says what's more is not having any answers. It's a guessing game. She says someone has to know something.
We just wish that the family, Craig Pennington's family would help us, is give us any clues as far as where he may have taken them.
Despite the agony, she says they're raising money to cover gas costs so searches can continue.
We have to have some kind of closure. I don't even want to believe the story is true, and I know once we find them, it will be a whole new heartache, but I feel like that's the only way that we could get closure.
Family is making a map, marking off where they've searched. They're planning another large search this coming weekend. In Lexington, Caitlin Sentner, WKYT.
The man charged with murder in the case, Craig Pennington, is scheduled to be arraigned this week in Washington County. We're learning new details tonight about an officer-involved shooting in eastern Kentucky. Police in Pike County say it happened this morning on Phillips Branch Road in the Phelps community. Kentucky State Police said they were checking out a call about an assault at a home. When they got there, they say 32-year-old John Casey assaulted a trooper. Investigators say that's when the trooper shot and killed Casey. Family members said they never saw the assault. They tell us Casey had just served time on robbery charges, and they say he was turning his life around.
Well, it's something that you can't explain. You can't imagine something like that happening. It hurts you. You don't know how to explain it. You don't know how to get through it.
The trooper was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Here in Lexington, investigators are trying to figure out what caused a man to fall into a pond at Lexington Cemetery this morning. The Fayette County coroner says 29-year-old Luis Arevalo Jimenez drowned after falling into that pond. Firefighters said he was walking around the pond with his girlfriend when he fell. There's no fence around that pond, but there are signs posted in the area. The pond is about 7 feet deep. Deputies say she tried to skip town. Tonight we're learning more about what led up to the arrest of a Laurel County mother accused of taking off with her son while she was under the influence of drugs. 31-year-old Jamie Allen faces several charges, including attempted murder of a police officer. WKYT Sabira Rayford talked with a deputy who says Allen attacked him while they were arresting her.
She was highly intoxicated. She began cursing. One of the other guys that was with me ran up to her, and at that point he realized she had a knife in her right hand, and he was yelling, "Drop the knife, drop the knife."
Sergeant Larry Parrott says 2 miles down Langnow Road in Laurel County is where they finally caught up with Jamie Allen and her 5-year-old son. They say they caught her on the side of the road looking to make an escape.
Figured out where she was. She was supposed to meet a gentleman to get possibly transported out of state. So we used that, and at about 10:30 last night we were able to get a location on her. And we went in, and she was actually standing by the roadway waiting on the gentleman to pick her up.
That is when Parrott says she threatened them with a knife. They were able to secure the child, and he arrested Allen on multiple charges, including fleeing or evading police and attempted murder of an officer. Later, they went back to that area and arrested 47-year-old Terry Dude, who they say was helping hide Allen.
That she went to this friend's house, which is approximately 2.5 miles away, where we found her, from where we found the abandoned car.
In Laurel County, Sabira Rayford, WKYT.
Social services have placed that child with his biological father. New tonight, 2 young men face charges after deputies in southeastern Kentucky say they broke into 2 schools. 22-year-old Chase Hoskins and 20-year-old Dewey Collette were arrested this morning in Leslie County. Deputies said the 2 of them admitted to breaking into Stinnett Elementary and Leslie County Central High to steal money and snacks. Businesses near the schools said they're glad the men have been tracked down.
Breathe a little bit easier. And again, for our business being so close to the Wesley County High School, it does make you feel a little bit easier, breathe a little bit easier.
Deputies said they were able to use tips from the community to track those men down. School leaders say the schools are safe and that they're ready for the new school year. A Florida man is charged with aggravated battery after police said he hit a Lexington teenager with a shovel at a beach. Police say 53-year-old Christopher Carosella was arguing with 18-year-old Christian Geis over a large hole he had dug. They say Carosella got upset with Geis, who refused to stop digging. Geis' father told a Florida news station that Carosella took the shovel that his son had left on the beach and then hit him with it twice. Geis had minor injuries. Police in Oldham County have issued a golden alert for a young woman. Police say 21-year-old Caitlin Burchett is currently a ward of the state and was staying in a transitional living facility. They said she suffers from a mild intellectual disability. Now, according to police, Burchett was voluntarily picked up by an unknown man and then dropped off in Louisville. Traffic is finally moving smoothly again tonight on Interstate 75 in Fayette County. Lexington police said a camper being pulled by a vehicle tipped over near exit 108. No one was hurt, but the interstate was down to 1 lane for a few hours while crews had to clean up the mess. It finally reopened around 10 o'clock tonight. In Madison County, Kentucky State Police are investigating what led up to a deadly crash. It happened early this afternoon on Irvin Road near Waco. Dispatchers say 39-year-old Douglas Tackett Jr. lost control of his vehicle. It hit a guardrail and then crossed lanes and rolled several times. The road was closed for over an hour. Troopers tell us Tackett was taken to the hospital where he died. It wasn't the crash scene they were expecting to see. Police in Wayne County, West Virginia said they were called to a Walmart after a car crashed into it. But instead of finding some people in that car, police say 2 dogs were behind the wheel. The woman who owns the car said she left it running while she ran inside, and those dogs somehow managed to knock the car out of park. Police said that car started to roll toward a woman who jumped out of the way. Then the car hit the edge of the building.
Dogs can be your best friends, and in this situation, they can be your enemy too.
Neither dog was injured in that crash, and there was just minimal damage to just the building and the car. Lexington's newest high school is set to open in just about a year, and the group is already coming up with an idea for a name. Our partners at the Lexington Herald-Leader report that a former co-worker of a Lexington firefighter who was shot and killed back in 2004 wants it named after her. Brad Morris wants the new school to be called Brenda Cowan High School. Cowan was killed by a man who had killed his wife before paramedics got there. She was the first African-American female on the Lexington Fire Department and the first African-American female firefighter killed on the job in the U.S. This is the third initiative for naming Fayette County's 6th high school. The school is being built along Winchester Road, and it's scheduled to open in August 2017. Still ahead here on WKYT News, the parents of a Muslim American soldier killed in combat are now at the center of an election controversy. And Senator Rand Paul, who's known as the anti-debt crusader, is accused of not paying his bills, while his campaign says they have more cash than bills.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
Here we are tracking a very steamy, sticky night out there. All that moisture in the air is doing, though, is just getting us ready for rounds of showers and thunderstorms as we head through the next several days. Don't buy into the heat hype. We have so many chances of showers and thunderstorms. We're going to be talking more about that, and that'll be a bigger issue than daytime highs pushing close to 90 degrees, I assure you, over the next few days, especially with those thunderstorms coming just over and over. 73 right now in Lexington, 72 into Danville. Quiet night across Kentucky. Here's what we have on our Defender Radar Network. Not much happening with showers or thunderstorms, at least at this point. And watch the cloud cover, how it's drifting in from our northwest. That's going to be a critical flow for us in the coming days because most of what's upstream, showers and thunderstorms, will continue to take that path and spread right into western, central, and parts of eastern Kentucky as we head through the next few days. And we're going to get such a pattern locked in that we're going to be hit by several waves. So we're even talking flash flood threat trying to come together a little bit. And I've got southern, central, and especially western Kentucky in the best risk category, as could pick up on some isolated amounts that are just very intense. That would be the best concentration of precipitation, some of the heavier stuff. Now, of course, you get north of there and into parts of eastern Kentucky, you could run into an isolated threat. That's just for Monday. Here's part of the reason that there's concern. Round after round, or clusters of thunderstorms, will be drifting into the area, and each one can produce strong thunderstorms and can also produce a lot of heavy rainfall. That's what I have highlighted here, number 3 there. So strong storm, heavy rain potential. It's a very stormy northwest flow as it drops those thunderstorm clusters in on Kentucky. So it's just an active pattern. We can even see it here trying to come together. Those are those thunderstorms we're tracking close to St. Louis tonight. You watch as they make a run into Kentucky overnight and into the early morning hours. Some of the high resolution data picking up on a little bit better and showing that those are going to be a little on the stronger side and a little more widespread. We'll quieten things down briefly, and then if you'll notice, you can see those clusters coming together again. They'll try to ride in here like essentially as the boundaries hanging out in the area. It'll ride along that boundary like a car goes down the road. Then you'll get those clusters diving in here. And that's Tuesday, another chance of showers and thunderstorms. And you can see another coming in with that northwest flow. So we'll just keep our eyes to the skies in that general direction over the next few days. Let's plan ahead here with your 7-day forecast as we're tracking all those storm chances Monday and beyond. Rounds of showers, thunderstorms. Now, I do have plenty of heat in the forecast because some of us will get rather warm. But what will steal the headlines here, Sean, will be the fact that we're dealing with all of those thunderstorm chances, especially early this week, and more chances toward the end.
So just rain.
Yeah, and the ground's already saturated, so we already have that.
We'll keep an eye on the potential there. Thanks, Jim. Well, next on WKYT, Senator McConnell chimes in on some election controversy concerning Donald Trump. Tuesday night's Mega Millions jackpot is $25 million. Wednesday night's Powerball jackpot is $40 million. Donald Trump is on the defensive after the Muslim father of a fallen U.S. soldier criticized the businessman during last week's Democratic convention. Craig Boswell is at the White House with the Campaign 2016 latest.
The parents of a Muslim American soldier killed in Iraq are urging voters to reject Donald Trump.
He is a black soul, and this is totally unfit for the leadership of this beautiful country.
Khizr Khan slammed Trump's proposed Muslim ban during last week's Democratic convention.
Have you even read the United States Constitution?
While his wife, Ghazala, stood by his side.
She had nothing to say. Maybe she wasn't allowed to have anything to say. You tell me, but plenty of people have written that.
Ghazala explained in a Washington Post op-ed saying, Donald Trump has asked why I did not speak, because without saying a thing, all the world, all America felt my pain.
Hillary Clinton.
Campaigning in Ohio, Hillary Clinton says Trump's comments were inappropriate.
To have Trump do what he did, I don't know where the bounds are. I don't know where the bottom is.
Trump says he should be allowed to defend himself from what he called a vicious attack by Mr. Khan at the DNC.
We need to focus on protecting our homeland security. That's the issue, not the tragedy of the Khan family.
Trump questioned whether Khan's words were his own or from Clinton speechwriters, but Khan says he spoke from his heart. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
Today, Senator Mitch McConnell released a statement on Captain Khan saying, quote, Captain Khan was an American hero, and like all Americans, I'm grateful for the sacrifices that selfless young men like Captain Khan and their families have made in the war on terror. And, quote, I agree with the Khans and families across the country that a travel ban on all members of a religion is simply contrary to American values, end quote. Earlier today on Kentucky Newsmakers, Senator Mitch McConnell told WKYT that he will likely run for the U.S. Senate again in 2020. We've got a portion of that interview right now on WKYT.com. Now, as for Kentucky's other senator, a new report out today shows that Senator Rand Paul has more than $300,000 in unpaid bills from his failed presidential campaign. According to the Lexington Herald-Leader, Paul's campaign reported just over $2,500 in cash as of June 30th. The campaign owes dozens of businesses and people for things like rent, phone and internet access, and various legal fees. Paul's campaign spokeswoman released a statement today saying in part, quote, all vendors are being paid in the normal flow of a campaign and everyone will be paid in full. Closing down campaigns takes time, as evidenced by other presidential campaigns that are at similar stages of doing so. The entire statement is on our website. Paul is also currently running for another Senate term here in Kentucky. It's the last book for Harry Potter fans. The newest Harry Potter book was released at midnight last night. The latest book is actually just the script to a sold-out London play, which takes place 19 years after the last book. The previous book in the series, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, was released back in 2007. At Joseph Booksellers in Lexington, more than 450 people had pre-ordered that book, with several hundred more purchasing the book at a midnight release.
They had just come from their wedding. She was in a wedding dress. He was in his tux. She had pre-ordered the book, and she absolutely had to have the book before they went on their honeymoon. So we actually worked it out to where we could get them the book so that we could send them on their way. It was a really cool moment.
Got to have your priorities. Verizon says even if you didn't pre-order the latest copy of the book, they still have plenty to go around. Lee K is in next with sports, and Tyler Eulis was back here in town today.
Yes, he was. Tyler will help out with the Calipari camp tomorrow, but today he was signing autographs for the fans. And Jimmy Walker holds on to win his first major at the PGA Championship. Those highlights are straight ahead in sports. Tyler Eulis proved during the NBA Summer League that he has what it takes to compete at the next level. But regardless of how much success he has in the NBA, Eulis will always be a fan favorite at Kentucky. That was evident today as hundreds showed up to meet and get an autograph from Tyler at the Kentucky Branded store in Lexington. Eulis was a second-round pick of the Phoenix Suns, joining a team full of former Kentucky Wildcats. He says it's a perfect place to be.
I love the people, the staff, the GMs, the owner, everyone. It's like a family atmosphere. I have a lot of Kentucky guys there. The head coach was a smaller guard, and he was a player, so having a player coach is always very good for a player like me because he knows the game, and I'm excited to get ready with the team.
Tyler's old and new teammate Devin Booker was also in town this weekend helping out with the Calipari shooting camp. Booker, like most people, watched the NBA draft and were dumbfounded as Eulis slipped all the way to the second round. Booker thinks the eye test should have told NBA GMs all they needed to know about Tyler.
I don't understand how the draft always works. You take all these European guys that they play 3 minutes a game overseas, but You're right here. You see Tyler playing on the biggest stage in college basketball and performing. But, you know, I'm glad it happened how it did. Now we get to be teammates again, and, you know, he's just proving to everybody. All you have to do is watch basketball, honestly. I mean, proof is in the pudding. If you turn on the TV, watch him play last year, you see that he belonged in the NBA.
For a second straight season, the Kentucky football team finished a win shy of a bowl bid, sparking the Wildcats' newest motto heading into 2015, finish. After beating South Carolina in week 2, UK lost SEC games to Florida, Auburn, and Vanderbilt later in the season by a combined 12 points. It's those close games that the Wildcats have to do a better job finishing in order to play in the postseason.
Our league is by far the closest league with points per game that determines the outcome, except for the NFL. And we know the parity that's in the NFL, but there's also a lot of parity in this league. And we've won some close games and we've lost some close games, and we've got to increase that margin so we don't always have to play perfect.
After rain postponed the third round of the PGA Championship, the top 10 on the leaderboard had to play 36 holes on Sunday. The leader, Jimmy Walker, in the bunker at number 10 here in his final round. Walker, though, with no problem knocking it in for the huge birdie. Wish I could do that just once. Back-to-back birdies at 10 and 11 gave him a 2-stroke lead over Jason Day. Then on 17, Walker curls in the birdie putt. Walking up 18, Day gets a glimpse of Walker's score posted, and yeah, I can't believe it. Day still, though, had a chance at 18, just inside of 15 feet for eagle, and Day drains it to cut the 3-shot lead to just a 1-stroke lead. Walker needing to 2-putt for the win from 3 feet out, and Walker rolls in the par putt to secure his first major victory at the PGA Championship. Kentucky Derby winner Nyquist headlined the stacked field in the $1 million Haskell Invitational in a rematch with Preakness winner Exaggerator. Nyquist had the lead at the top of the stretch when Exaggerator made his move on the outside. Once again, Exaggerator gets the best of Nyquist, winning the Haskell. Bob Baffert's American Freedom finished in second, with Sunny Ridge edging Nyquist for third. With the win, Exaggerator clinched the spot in the field for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Jay Bruce inactive today as the Reds take on the Padres. In the second inning, Reds down by a run. Jose Peraza, we'll see you later, takes Paul Clemens deep for a 2-run home run. His first home run of the season. Reds up 2-1. Welcome back, Homer Bailey, making his first start since Tommy John surgery. Looked pretty good. Fourth inning, strikes out Ryan Shrimp. Looking, next batter gets Jabari Blash. Yeah, just browsing. Bailey retired 14 consecutive batters during this stretch. He had 6 strikeouts in all. Bailey goes 5 2/3 solid innings in his first start this season, pitching the Reds past the Padres 3-2. Sean, we haven't seen many wins for the Reds. It was good to see them get a win today.
Yeah, good to see that happen today. Good deal. We will be right back with a little bit more WKYT news. So if you need a little bit of rain on that lawn, Jim says you are in luck this week.
You may get a little too much, as a matter of fact, because we could get in on some several rounds. Flash flood threat is heightened a little bit for tomorrow. Best risk, that's tough to say, is for central and southern parts of Kentucky, and of course out to the west, but in our immediate area, as we could be dealing with those clusters coming in, guys, from the northwest. So we'll watch that for you. Michael will start in the early morning hours, and we'll watch it the rest of the day.
Yeah, be on our toes all week, I guess. Jim, thank you.
Each day,
yeah. Well, thank you, Jim. Thank you so much for joining us, staying up late this evening. Remember, our next newscast is at 4:30 a.m., just a few hours from now. And, of course, the news is always on at WKYT.com. Have a good night, everybody.